Yes, friends. Now I'm taking the fifth prefix number or fifth lecture number, right? Now in fifth lecture number or the fifth prefix, I have taken N. N means not, absence of, not absence of. In Greek language, or from basically, this etymologically it is from Greek language. That means, for example, anecdote. Anecdote means N here is without or not, absence of. Without means absence of. Okay, so this anecdote that is means anecdota. Basically from Greek word anecdota. That anecdota means without published. Okay, or with the things which are not published. Right? Not published, things which are not published or things not published. That means without publicity or without publication. Those things are known as anecdote. Similarly, N means without or not, absence. This is from Greek language. Right? Basically from Greek language. Then I'll take these words based on this. And this one N, this AN, should not be confused with the suffix AN. For example, Indian, IAN, with IAN or AN should not be confused with that suffix. Because in suffix, AN means native of something. For example, Indian, AN, IAN. Finally, in the suffix as suffix, AN means native of something. So, that is suffix. So, how suffix and prefix, they are different from each other, and how they are used, the meaning is totally changed. Okay, so in this case, N means not, without, absence of, or absence of, right? So let me take this word, the fifth one, which is N, that means not, without. This is from Greek, basically from Greek language. Absence of, that means absence of. Okay, this is, and it has been taken from Greek AN means without. That means without. Right? For example, anecdote. Right? The first word I'm taking here. I take the now words based on this word, anecdote. The first word is anecdote. Right? Anecdote. This is noun here. Now this has been taken from N, that means without, or we can say anecdota. Anecdota, the basic word is this, anecdota. That means this is from Greek anecdota, and that means without published. Without, things without publicity or things not published. Things without publication or not published. Let me take not published. Things not published. That means anecdote. Anecdote means things which are not publicly noted down, but they are anecdotes. The people are saying those things. Anecdote. Right? So they are not published or without publication, but this anecdota word is basically anecdota. This anecdota, right? Anecdota. That is from Greek. That means without publication. Because N means without, and this anecdota means not published or without publication. Okay, not published. That means without publication. That means this anecdota word. So this anecdota has been taken from this, and anecdota means what? That anecdota is story. Here meaning I have written down a story or personal item not generally known, not generally published, right? A story or personal a story or personal item, anything not generally known, generally published, not generally known. This is the actual meaning. Not generally known means which is not published. Exactly the same definition I have written down from this Greek word anecdota, to a story which is not generally published, not generally known to the public. That is anecdota. The sayings which are not not public or not known to the people. That is anecdota. So I am telling you the anecdote. Okay, you are saying something anecdota. So second word, let me take. This anecdota means not published. The things, mostly items or stories or personal item not generally known. Now anecdota. This word is again anecdota. Adjective. It was the first was noun. It is now anecdotal adjective. This is adjective parts of speech. Okay, adjective. That means interesting or living in conversation. Interesting. Interesting or living in conversation. What does it mean? That means we are just anything which is related to the anecdote. Anecdote means sayings which are not actually known to the public, but they are being talked about. They are being talked about. Okay, the things which are related to this adjective, so related to the conversation, which are mostly conversed about. Okay, living conversation or interesting. That is anecdotes. So anecdotal things are. This is anecdotal. Okay, people are talking about this anecdotal thing is there, but is not a mostly actual one or not true one or what you call is in conversation, is interesting or is interesting living in conversation. Right? People are now talking about these things. This is anecdotal or the same type of thing, right? But not actually happening. This is. Now let me take the third one. Anecdotish. Noun. What is anecdotes? A collection of, that is, uncertainties or anecdotes. Anecdotes means collection of anecdotes, collection of sayings, collection of not published things. That is anecdotes. Anecdotes. D-O-T-A-G. Anecdotes. Right? This is noun here. A collection of. That means a collection of anecdotes. A collection of anecdotes. A collection of anecdotes. I'm sorry, anecdotes. D-O-T-E-S. A collection of anecdotes like this. Anecdotes. A-N-E-C-D-O-T-E-S. That anecdotes. Collection of anecdotes. That is anecdotish. So these three words are taken here. Let me now take other words also. This is anecdota, anecdotish, anecdotal, anecdote. So from anecdote which is started, we have taken anecdotish and anecdotal, and anecdote. Right? Anecdote, age. Three words we have taken based on the same word, anecdote. Now let us take the fourth word, which is different one. Anesthesia. What is anesthesia? Absence of feeling. Anesthesia. He has been given anesthesia. Anesthesia means for numbness. Anesthetic injection has been given. Anesthetic means when people doesn't feel any feeling. No feelings are there. Nothing is being felt about. Numbness. That is numbness. Anesthesia. Fourth word is anesthesia. Anesthesia. T-H-E-S-I-A. A-N-E-S-T-H-E-S-I-A. Anesthesia. Anesthesia, which is noun here. That means absence of feeling. That means absence of feeling. Absence of feelings or feeling. Yeah. That is numbness. N-U-M-B. N-E-W-S, numbness, right? Numbness when you are not feeling anything, that is anesthesia. Or anesthetic injection has been given, anesthetic adjective, that means anesthetic injection is given just to operate the person upon. So before operation, anesthetic injection is given to the patient, and after this, almost all medical words are there also, medical word. And first anecdote was just saying type, okay, and then anesthesia and all these words are medical words. Anesthetic. So anesthesia we have taken. But now let's talk about fifth word, anemia. This is also medical word, medical term. I mean, anemia. Disease where lack of hemoglobin, lack of immunity cells, lack of hemoglobin cells or something. No, so that is known as anemia, a condition in which there are not enough red blood cells. So lack of what do you call that? Anemia means lack of blood cells, lack of red blood cells, because red blood cells are important just to make the quantity of blood inside the body sufficient. For that, red blood cells are required. But lack of red blood cells, that means lack of blood inside the body, that means anemia. Anemia, a condition, is a noun here. Anemia again, and word without sufficiency of. This is hemia. H-E-M-I-A, hemia, from hemia it has been taken. Hemia means blood cells, hemia, hemoglobin type. That hemia word, and N means without hemia, but without red blood cells, right? This is hemia word, from hemia, H-E-M-I-A. This hemia word has been taken. Anemia. This is anemia, noun or condition. Anemia means a condition in which there are no blood cells. There are not enough red blood cells. There are not enough blood cells. Right? There are no enough blood cells. That means anemia. The person is suffering from anemia. That means lack of blood cells, lack of red blood cells, lack of blood inside the body. The person is feeling anemia. So he is anemic. Anemic adjective, anemia, noun here. So anemia. Now, for example, sixth word we have taken, anemic. This is anemic, related to the same word, anemic, right? Anemic adjective, that means related to anemia, lack of blood cells. So anemic means adjective, deficient in red blood cells. This is deficient adjective, deficient in red blood cells. Deficient in red blood cells. That is anemia. Deficient in red blood cells. That is anemia. So anemic condition, lack of blood cells, right? So this is deficient in red blood cells. Or anemic condition. The person is suffering from anemic condition. He is having anemia, noun, but anemic is adjective. So lack of blood cells or deficient of red blood cells, right? Then seventh word, let me take. Seventh word is anodyne. What is anodyne? O-D-Y-N-E. Anodyne. And noun here, creating an absence of pain. That is anodyne. Now anodyne injections, or mostly medical term is this. So anodyne, creating, medical term, medical or name of medicine, creating an absence of pain. Creating an absence of pain. This is anodyne. Number of anodynes, anodyne tablets are available in the market, in the pharmaceutical companies or the pharmaceuticals. Okay, so that is how we can just talk about. So this is anodyne. Anodyne is creating an absence of pain. So anodyne type of tablets are taken and then they are inhaled, and after that we feel lack of pain. So these anodyne things are being taken by the patients who are suffering from pain, because then he feels painless. A person or anodyne is creating an absence of pain. Okay, narcotic, pain, a narcotic is anything which is given as a medicine, or narcotic. This is a narcotic. A narcotic is a name of medicine which is given, and just to remove the pain in the body. This narcotic. Okay, so narcotic cells are given. This narcotic. So seventh word I have talked about. Let us take other words also. Now after seventh, let me take the 8th one, 9th and 10th one, then 11th, 12th. Okay, so now 8th word. Word number 8 is anomaly. What is anomaly situation? Anomaly, M-A-L-Y, anomaly. Anomaly means, yes, N-O-A-N-O-M-A-L-Y, anomaly. Now, what this situation, anomaly situation, is different from the, yes, common rule. Irregularity, anomaly condition is, so irregularity is famous here. Anomalous condition or anomaly. Anomaly is prevalent here. There is anomaly condition, anomaly situation here. Nobody is listening others. Okay, so anomaly, irregularity. Okay, nobody is caring for others. No, here in this office, nobody is caring the boss. Nobody is following the boss. Nobody is following orders of the boss. Irregularity is here. Lot of irregularity is found in functioning of the offices. So in office, irregularity there. Anomaly is present here. Okay, so difference from the common rule. That is a difference. That means a difference from a common rule. A difference from a common rule. What is the common rule here? That means irregularity. Irregularity. Irregularity, sorry. Irregularity. Okay. IRREGULARITY by irregularity. Irregularity situation is known as anomaly condition. Irregularity noun. Anomaly is also noun. So anomaly means irregularity. Okay. So lack of common rule. Absence of creating an absence of. This one, a difference from the common rule. A difference from the common rule, that is the common rule, whatever is prevalent is not followed here. That is, irregularity is there. An irregularity. But this is an irregularity. This is example in an irregularity. This is the irregularity. Right? So irregularity situation is known as anomaly. Now 9th word. So 9th one, anonym. Yeah. Anonym. N-Y-N. Anonym situation is what? A person or a writer who keeps his name unknown, not published. He's writing something with other name, not his actual name, not his real name. So anonymous condition or anonym. A person is working as an anonym. A person or a writer who keeps his name unknown. Okay, so writing with other name. Okay, when the person comes to know that this is the actual person who is writing this, okay, so this is the actual person. So that is anonym means a writer, a person or writer, a person or a writer, a person or a writer who keeps his name unknown. Who keeps his name unknown. That person is known as anonym. Right? Anonym without name. N means without, and name means name. Without name, a person is publishing, he is taking some other name, okay, or conversing with other name, not his actual name. This is the 9th word. Let me take the 10th word also. Then 11th, 12th are take together. An electric condition. An electric. What does it mean? An electric. Right? An electric. An electric. E-L-E-C-T-R-I-C. An electric. E-L-E-C-T-R-I-C. An electric means the situation where this adjective here. What is an electric situation? Not electrified by friction. An electric situation. That means not electrified by friction. So, how electricity is generated? By friction. When friction is done, when water is just moving the fan, that fan is working under the magnet, and that magnet is creating electricity. So, due to friction under the magnetic field, when friction is done, then electricity is created. So without that thing, how the electricity is generated, that process is not followed, then that is known as an electric situation. An electric means not following the electricity situation, electricity process. So how electricity is generated? Through friction. So friction is not followed, and electricity is generated. That means something is an electric. Okay, so an electric is adjective here. Not electrified by friction. Not electrified. Not electrified by friction. Friction is the actual position of creating electricity or generating electricity. Electricity generation is done with the help of friction of the one fan is moving, okay, and inside the magnetic field. When then electricity is generated, so that electricity is being transferred to the common houses or okay in the country. So that is proper situation. Now if we are following other thing or creating electricity without that proper process, that is unelectric or anelectric situation, unelectric or anelectric condition, right? This is known as anelectric, not electrified by friction. So absence of friction. This is 10th word. Okay, so number of words can be in this way generated. Now let me take 11th and 12th word, which are the two last words. 11th word is anopia. What is anopia? Anopia. Anopia. Optic. This optic word is related to eye. Optic means related to eye, right? And anopia means when absence of eye is there, no, visibility is there. Okay, the person cannot see with his eyes. That position is anopia. So 11th word is anopia, noun. That means absence. This is absence of the eye, right? This is absence of the eye. Absence of the eye. This is anopia, because optic is related to eye. Optic related to eye. Okay, so when optic operations are being done, his eye operation is done. That is, he is passing through an optic operation. Right, so absence of the eye or visibility, right, or visibility it may be here, or vision, right, lack of vision, absence of the eye, vision that is defective, yeah, that is also known as anopia, vision that is defective, that situation is also known as defective. Vision that is defective, that is anopia. So anopia situation is when vision is defective, visibility is very lack of visibility is there. No visibility, right? Absence of eye means with no visibility. This is anopia means. So an means without, opia, optic means eye, without eye or lack of visibility. 12th word, last one. An organism or something. Yeah, an organism. O-R-G-A, sorry, an organism, N-I-S-M, an organism, right? An organism, O-R-G-A-N-I-S-M, An organism, noun. What is an? An means without. Organism means like not organic. That means an inorganic body as a crystal. An inorganic body, okay, or not organic body, that is crystal, for example. An inorganic body. Inorganic means without organic, without carbon body, right? For example, an inorganic. Organic means with carbon, and inorganic means without carbon, without cells, without carbon. Carbon means carbon is found between the trees and animals. Okay, so this is inorganic body. This is chemical body. So an organism. So an inorganic, right? An inorganic body. That is known as an organism. An inorganic body means without carbon body. A body which is not having carbon. That means a crystal. As a crystal, right? This is as a crystal. A crystal is not a carbon. As a crystal. This is an example. As a crystal. So crystal is an organism, an organic body or an organism. So an organism is an inorganic body. An inorganic means without organic, or an inorganic chemistry, organic chemistry. Organic chemistry, we study about plants and cells and carbon, all those things which are parts of the carbon. Carbon is found in plants and animals, right? But inorganic means which is not having carbon, right? Inorganic chemistry, okay, which we are dealing with without carbon. So organic chemistry, inorganic chemistry. This is inorganic body. An organism is inorganic body. An inorganic body as a crystal. Crystal is inorganic body. So this is how a crystal is. Okay, so these are the things: inorganism, inorganic, inorganism, and inorganic, right? This is how we can frame number of other words, parts of speech. This noun, adjective can be framed by anopic, 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 here to I. Then an electric, we have taken an electric, okay, an electrical, an electricity. That we can talk about anonym, anonymic, okay, anonym word is okay, anonymic, anonymous word is famous. Okay, so 3 or 4 words can be framed from anonym. In this way we can increase our word power, right? These words are giving us with an, which is prefix, that means without, not, absence of, and taken from Greek word like anecdote, which is anecdota. Anecdota in Greek, found in which that means things not published. That means anecdota. So anecdota is the proper word which is taken from Greek language. That means anecdotes and all these words have been taken anecdote, right? An means without, that is in Greek, okay, and an plus anecdota. So anecdota or something, anecdota, that is proper word. So anecdota is from Greek word. So this is how these words are framed on an. Okay, an is taken as prefix. So prefixes are very much important just to make different kind of words, and that word is giving you a proper meaningful word. We can interpret the word immediately if we are knowing that what is this prefix mean. So prefixes are giving us a lot of words. Prefixes, suffixes and roots. I will again suggest you, please go through this and write your own, find out your own words and then see the dictionary and check whether you have framed or found out one word from here, adjective or noun or verb or adverb. Then check that whether that word which you have framed according to this, prefix and that root word, then that word is found in dictionary or not. In this way you can make your own list of words, right? In this way, just increase your word power. This will undoubtedly, I can assure you that it will strengthen your vocabulary. It will strengthen your vocabulary. It will enhance your vocabulary. If you want to enhance your vocabulary or your